everyone, it's FallenDice, and welcome to another episode of Minecraft Adventures with FallenDice. So we're charging our helmet back up, eating, I think, call it eating, but restoring our hunger. Actually goes through this quite fast. It actually went through this faster than pretty much any of the other items I have. My chest and legs haven't really moved at all. Feet a little bit, but I think that's just from all the jumping I've been doing. But here we are today, our new project, and this is completely temporary. My jumping. I need pumpkins, and I need a lot of them to do all the planting. Although they do seem to produce quite a bit, but I figured I would set this up so while I'm constructing this, I can get the seeds that I'm going to need. And here's where we're going to be building this. And I gave myself plenty of room because once this is done, the refinery will go in here, and it's going to be different than what this was. This was just a simple, we had oil coming in and kind of, if I can get in my door, filling up in here, refinery going here, and pumping out to here. But now that we have Railcraft, we have iron tanks, which are a bit bigger, not as tall, so we'll need a little bit more space. And then, of course, we pumping stuff down into there. But we'll work on that one after we get our crop incoming. Or maybe we'll get like 1 or 2 floors of this in and then start working on that and then go back and start adding floors. That probably would work. So anyway, so what we have here, I designed this in creative, but this would be one section here. We're going to have a trough down the middle. That way it's 8 this way and 8 this way, and then of course 2 here. So it'll be 19 plants, considering that we have to leave spaces and everything for each one of these sections here. And it'll make more sense as I do it. So then of course we have 4 of these. So technically we're going to be close to 80, more like 72 plants per floor. And then you'll see kind of how it works. And then it's very tileable, as you can see, because they're right next to each other. This one here is sharing the same redstone as the 2 next to it. So it's automatic, just basically feeding off the same power, which will be coming from the back. And I'll be doing this as a timer. So I'll try 2 timers. I'm going to try a 5-minute timer and a 1-minute timer for 5 minutes. I'm curious to see if there's a difference in output. If every minute it harvests, that leaves more spaces open for them to grow. So I might actually get more pumpkins growing each time through by having all the available spaces open versus waiting for 5 minutes to harvest. And both timers are easy. You've seen the 5-minute timer. We've used it over here. The 1-minute timer I'll show when we test it is actually even almost easier. And it's just using a dispenser full of arrows and a block with a pressure plate on it. But anyway, when we get to there, I'll show that to you. But first off, let's go ahead and get started on this. And actually, I need some more items here. So let me clean up my inventory, get what I need, and then I will be right back. Alright, so we are ready to go. So here is the basic gist of what this is. So we're going to run this all the way across both sides. The internal 2 blocks is going to be full of water. And the reason I'm going with 2 blocks as opposed to just a single block is because I don't want to deal with the items getting caught on the other side. Sometimes when the piston extends, it'll push the items from here all the way over to the other side, and it gets hung up and you end up losing some of the items. And actually, I don't need the second layer in the back. Water is going to be here, so actually let's replace that here with some more stone bricks, although I probably could pretty much put anything I wanted in there. And once I get the rest of this up, it'll start to make a little bit more sense. But like I said, the cool part is this is completely tileable, and they just build right on top of each other. RenEvo has just done his his sugarcane farm, and it was pretty cool. You know how the roof of the one became the floor of the next one, and that's kind of like a theme that I wanted to do with that. Is I wanted to make it so that I could fit as much in a tiny amount of space. And I put that right where I wasn't supposed to. Alright, let me clean this up a little bit. I'll be right back. Alright, so I went ahead and added in all of our lines here. So we got the water on either side. And technically, I guess I could have just had one water coming across and it would have reached here, but maybe I'll do that on some of the higher ones as I get up there. We'll try it out to see. I know for sure this works. So, the next thing we're going to be doing is this gets covered with our stone bricks, and then behind that we'll start setting up our pistons, sticky pistons, and then behind that is what is going to control everything. So the way I do it is, and did I keep my hoe? Probably not. Nope. Alright, let me get my hoe. I'll be right back. Alright, back with our hoe. And we're going to, basically every other one is going to have a plant on it. And since it has an odd number, the first and the last are going to be plantable spots. So that's how we get our, sorry, this shouldn't be one, but that's how we get our 19, or is it, there's 17, sorry, 17. There's 17 spaces on each one of those, but only every other one gets it on here. So let's see, 2, 3, 4, and 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9, 18. I'm sorry, 8. I was right the first time. It is 18 blocks. Anyway, so like I said, we just go along here. And again, I'm just going to show how I do it on the first one, and then I'll go in on the second ones and fix them myself. There we go. Plant grass there. So then we take our sticky piston, and that will go behind. And actually, I think I can just set it like this. And can you place? Nope. Okay, I have to be on the level to be able to place it at the angle. They need to do that with update the pistons like they do with the logs and that kind of stuff, placing them, because that makes it nice. Although I think if I went and got my wrench, I could actually turn them with my wrench. I forgot all about that, but that's okay. So we'll come down here again. Every other one's getting a piston all the way down our line. And then after that, we can go ahead and fill in the middle. And then I'll show you how we are actually setting these off. And that's the cool part about how this worked, because redstone can get ugly at times, as most people have seen. But this one, it's actually, and I wouldn't say elegant, I don't know why, but sometimes I guess if you have clean redstone, it kind of seems elegant. I won't say elegant, but it is, I like how this looks. The way when it turns out. I almost wanted to kind of make it so that you saw the side instead of the front because of that, but we'll hold off. And I am going to have to make a little bit more space back here. I'll clean and touch this all up later, but I need to have more room back here. Okay, maybe one more. Alright, that should be good. Okay. And I think it does go one more deep, but we'll fix that later. So basically, we have this torch going into here, which is going to power this. However, when it's powered like this, of course that'll be off. And then that goes into here, into here, to here, all the way across. And because these are using repeaters, it actually powers the block, when the block then powers the next one. So if I come over here and I turn this off, it pushes them all out, and then once it receives power, it sucks them all back in. The cool part is how we continue this up, because it actually, when you fire this off from the front, you kind of see it. It's a cascading effect. It's like all the way to the end, and then brings it back again, and it does it from all layers up all the way down. So it's kind of a cool little effect. Now that also may affect whether I do a 1 minute or 5 minute timer, because if I end up with some huge amounts of lag due to oh, I put this in the exact wrong spots. It's supposed to go in the middle. I'll fix that. But yeah, if I get a lot of lag when this goes off as I get higher, I may have to change it so it doesn't happen quite as often. But yeah, I definitely just did this wrong. So let me fix this real fast and I'll be right back. Alright, so I've placed all of the first layer, and as you can see, like I was saying, these now kind of feed off each other. They take the same redstone coming in. If I bring my repeaters here, come back up here, they're going to take that same signal that we had coming in at the other one, but they're going to basically fire off both of these pistons at the same time. So it kind of, like I said, tileable. Very nice that they can fit exactly next to each other, and not just next to each other, but then they actually use the same blocks together. So it gives us a little bit more compactness, but also, like I said, kind of an elegance, because it really disappears into each other. So when we see the front, we're just going to see these windows going up that are going to have nothing but pumpkins. And then when it fires off, it's just going to be a cascade coming from the back all the way forward, which really does look cool. So I almost can't wait till I get a few more layers of this put in. But I'm going to finish putting these in, and I'll be right back. Alright, so here's kind of a run through now of how this is going to look, but it'll be a lot faster. But when the timer goes off, you'll see they all, and they do go at the same time. It's just a little bit of lag here and distance. I've got delays on the repeater setup, so they all actually fire at the same time. But yep, that's how it looks. That's how it goes. So there is our plan for the moment. We'll get down here, get rid of all this stuff, and then I'm going to put them on the permanent unpowered, so that I can let them, or do some planting and grow some pumpkins, so we can start, doing the harvest. And then the next thing is going to be to show how we add another layer. And then at that point, then I'm just going to go ahead and continue doing that off camera, and then I'll show you what it all looks like at the end once everything's been added. But let's see, we'll add a little bit of glass up front here, because that's the one thing, is we are going to have the glass up front, so you can kind of see. Oh, yeah. So you can see the growth of all the pumpkins, and then I can kind of use that maybe to help decide how long I want my timer to last and such. Also, and I might as well do that as well, here's how we plan on doing it with the water. Get all 4 of these, and we'll head over to the front one. Okay. So we basically put them on both sides, and then we'll have one. No, I did. Put the same bucket of water in the same spot. And we'll go ahead and fill them up anyway. But yes, so like I was saying, if you look over there, we've got this one empty spot here, and that's where all of our drops are going to be sent down, and it's going to be the same all the way there. And at this point is where we'll have our obsidian pipes catching all of the items falling down, and using the stream coming down to here, and that's going to pump everything over to our building, which we will have here to then process the pumpkins into seeds into plant balls, and then plant balls into compressed plant balls. And then from there we can put them through the the fuel refinery, or I forget what we call that. I know it's got fuel in it. Fuel processor. So then we can put it through the fuel processor and start making us some biofuel. So anyway, let me go ahead and I'm going to pick my water back up here so I can do a little bit more work. And oh yeah, one other thing too. Let me do that real fast here. Again, just get rid of this water here. Light. Because we're going to have a block directly, a dirt block, because the very next growable plant block is going to be directly above it, we need light. So part of our light issue, and let me place one more so I can get the center. Alright, this here is a block that is not going to have a piston on it. So it'll be our center block. So at that point, we will put in a glowstone. And I have lots of glowstone because I just went and turned, was it 3 stacks of UU matter into 4 stacks of glowstone. Not a bad return on the investment, I think. But, let's see, where's my empty? Now we can pick you back up. Alright, so we have one here. And then I think we'll put the other one here. And then the same on the other side, because I want to have 3, so it's 5 between. 1, 2, 3, 4. I do have it. No, this one actually is in the wrong spot. Okay, can't. Although, to be honest, I guess it could be there. Well, that would be blocked. That's right. Now I'm remembering why I had them all going on to spaces that were plant growing spaces, so that if a pumpkin grows here, it's not going to block the light. The light will still make it through to the other areas. So we'll go ahead and pick that up. So actually it'll be 4 apart. But that should be able to post enough light for them to grow. From what I am aware by coming across, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to, let me look that up, because I may have to maybe put it here. I'll find out. Let me find out real fast how far apart these can be for it to still get enough light for them to grow, because I want to make sure they continue to grow at night as well. So what I might end up having to do is maybe put one here, 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 and here. And I think that is what I'm going to do. So I'll have to undo all these. But it'll be 4 per, so 8, so 32. So like a half a stack each level of this. But that way I can guarantee that I got enough light coming in here. So let me fix that. I'm going to put in the lights for all of these, because before I do the next layer I want to have the light in. So let me do that and I will be right back. Alright, we have our first layer is now complete. I put in our piping, and the other cool part about this whole setup is I only have to do the piping one time. So it took 8 obsidian, 8 iron, and then about a half a stack, maybe a little more of stone, heading over here into there. But, oops, still got to get used to all this fast stuff. But yeah, so we're all the way across. Did I? I did. Dang it. That sucks. And, well, I'll have to replant that after with one of these maybe. I got some more over there. But anyway, I'll get that in a sec. But we've already got some growing, so we'll go do our first harvest. Just because it's fun. Alrighty. And like I was saying before, we do have one that still got caught up. Well, that sucks. But is it 1? Is there more? Because in my testing, I didn't see that happen. Figures, right? The first test, you have it in the real world. We get 1 hung up anyway. And 2. And it seems to be off to the side, so I'm wondering if it popped off there. And there's nothing much I can do if it lands on that. But, let's see how many we did get. Well, they're still probably traversing. Yep. I could go back and put in some gold piping, but we'll see. It depends on how often I actually fire this. And hopefully having enough layers of this, losing a couple won't be too big of an issue because you can already see there's 1 grew, there's 2 grew, 3 grew. So they grow pretty quick. So as long as I have enough layers of this, and like I said, if I do the 1-minute timer, I think I should get more than enough to get a healthy supply of our fuel going. And with world anchors, this will be going all the time. So I don't have to be logged in or anything. So even if I'm not doing anything, we'll still be making fuel. And then I'll have some kind of stop gap put on there that in the event that my tanks get completely filled up, it'll shut it off then. But, yep. So I think what I'm going to do now is, let's see if it's still traversing. Yeah, it is super slow. Man. Alright, I may have to put in some gold pipes. That's kind of ridiculously so. That's alright. We'll fix that up here. But, yeah. So I'm going to go through now that I've got this done. And we're going to start on our second layer. So I'll do the preliminary part of this, of our second layer. And then I'll come back in and kind of show you how everything all fits together. So, anyway, I will be back in a little bit. Alright, so I've basically put up the outside of here. And our next step on our next layer is to basically just put in our dirt again, just like we had at the previous one. So we run the dirt across here, and again, I'll just do the first part, and then we'll go back in afterwards, and I'll do the rest of it off camera. But it's identical to what we were doing before, just like when we were back on the ground. Leave ourselves a spot for water. Come over to this side. Do the exact same thing, and then we'll basically repeat this across the entire floor of here. Initially, I thought maybe I would just do one stack up like 3, 4, 5, 6 high, and then build the ones next to it. But I think this actually works better doing it this way. So then we just run this across, and we've already got our spot for our water. Come in, fill these up, place our pistons directly above it, 2 blocks up. This will be across here. So actually, let me do that first. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish the this layer here, and I will be right back. All right, so our next layer is up, and you can see there's 1 block between there, and that's the cool part about this design. Unlike the weed farm, it didn't need that air block above it, so it's able to grow there. And this is completely 100% identical to the bottom layer. So this really is only a 2 high block design. So each one of these layers, this is only going to be 2 high. And again, they kind of grow into each other. So this really makes for a compact for the amount of biofuel we're going to be able to make off of this. So anyway, next part is to go back and complete the rest of this. 1 more layer. And then, yeah, I'll be back after I get this next layer done. Alright, so our second layer is done. I've put in our pistons, got our spaces for all of our repeaters. However, and actually let me go grab my redstone here, we run into our next problem. And not really a problem, but if we're trying to have these all go out at the same time, obviously if I place this right above here, these would be energized when those are not, because this is definitely not turned on right now. So, simple enough to fix. All we do is place that there. That one goes up top. And actually, I guess I can jump up a little higher. And now here we are. Exact same positioning. Place our repeater here. And there we go. Next layer. And now because it's kind of an alternating thing, on the next layer up, it will just be straight above it. So we're only going to have to go off that 1 block every other. But as you can see, there we go. So now using this into there, when we light it off, we'll get the first row will start to come back, and then the second row will start to come back. And as we get higher and higher, so it's going to be a real cascading, because it is kind of cool. I can't wait to get 4 or 5 layers on this thing put together, and then fire it off. And considering what I've seen so far, I think we may end up getting away with just doing a simple 5-minute timer, because I think as I get this thing higher and higher, we're going to get quite a bit. The only thing that's going to be the key deciding factor will be to see how much fuel we get out of the plants and find out if it's enough to keep up. Because if I want to say have 4 quarries running at once, that requires me to use 2 banks or 8 engines. So I need to make sure that I have enough fuel being generated to continue to run 8 engines. But then again, during the time that they're not running, you know what? And that just reminded me. My quarry just finished working a little bit ago. I kind of wasting fuel right now, so I'm going to turn that off. But like I'm saying, when I'm not using the engines, it'll be kind of building up, so we'll see. So yeah, but 1 bank of engines pretty much is enough to run 2 quarries. So alright, so anyway, I'm going to go ahead. I got to make me some more repeaters, and then we got to do some hoeing, add in our seeds, bone meal them, and then we'll be good to go on this. But 2 harvests gave me 40 already, which is what, 160 seeds. So we're doing pretty good, and you can see they definitely start to fill in. So so far so good. So anyway, let me finish this layers, and then I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so now we have 2 complete layers done. I think I did a harvest a little bit ago, and I ended up with 50 pumpkins, which is pretty good considering you get 4 seeds per. So as we continue to add layers to this, this will start outputting some really good, I think, numbers for our uses. And then the part that I really like is the side view. I think it just looks pretty cool. So anyway, I think what I'll probably do is I'm going to add maybe 3 or 4 more layers to this. But the next part is going to be our actual facility. Our not really a refinery, because we're not refining oil, but I guess we are refining plant matter. So I'm going to take this and tear this down here, and I'll do that off camera. And then our next thing is we're going to come in here and we're going to go ahead and set up our refining station. So I will be back shortly. Alright, so it is time to start working on a refinery. And I've kind of just laid this out as it kind of fit the the space in here. Got room to make it back here if I need to. Lined up along the front edge of our pumpkin farm. We got a little bit of room in here. I may maybe bring it out a couple more now that I think about it, just to more match up the space between other buildings. So yeah, we'll do that. Never hurts to give it a little bit more space. I don't really need the extra space, I think, in this build, although I say that, but then again, I've got to remember I am going to be using the iron tanks from Railcraft. So I will, those do take up a bit of space. I can go with the low profile ones. But my biggest key is I want to be able to store a lot in here for when I'm not using it over there. So I do have some plans for some changes downstairs, but majority of my fuel I think will be kept in here in tanks along this line here. So I do need to kind of see, because there's a 5x5, 3x3, 7x7. So I need to kind of take a peek at my width here real fast, and let's see exactly what I can fit in here. Wow, that was like a full stack on that last harvest. Yeah, this is gonna be good. Okay, so let me play with this a little bit real fast, and then I will be right back. I just kind of want to get an idea of how this is going to fill out. Alright, so if I go with the 5x5 tanks, I have the ability to place 3 of them here. Decent amount of space on the outside edge, and lined up well in the middle. And then I have plenty of room over here. Now what I could do as well, let's see, if I were to do 2, 3, 4, 5, that would be kind of tight if I were to maybe decide to put some on the 2 edges as well. And again, I'm just kind of eyeballing what it would look like. if I were to do something like this. And then, because I still have to figure out, I still have to place the actual fuel processors, but they don't take up a lot of space. That's the thing. These are just going to be reservoirs so that even when I'm not doing anything, I can constantly be processing fuel, and eventually I'll get to a point where I don't need to process because I have so much built up. And that's when I can go over here and shut this off, just in case I start having issues with my pistons and stuff being activated. So, decisions. And the thing too is I need water. I need a lot of water. Part of the process for converting the plant balls into fuel is that we need water, and the plant balls coming in. So if I maybe put some in the, maybe one of these, no, I could do that in the bottom. Maybe what I'll do is make us a couple floors. We can put, like, you know, all of our piping underneath, so we're not really going to see hardly anything up here. And if we use facades as well, we can have the piping running through the floor, but then cover up the piping so it'll look like it's just a solid floor. And we'll just see that these things are starting to fill up, and then we'll have a way to go downstairs to actually see the inner workings. And downstairs is where we'll actually set up all of our refinery stuff. That's not a bad idea. And then I can have from these pumping over there. Okay. Now I need to make this high enough. So let's get our building built first. So, yeah, let me do that real fast and I'll be right back. Alright, so we have our structure built now. Single floor, but it needed to be tall enough to fit a 5-block tall iron tank, which is what I plan on doing. But the first layer is probably going to be in the ground, so what needs to be able to be done is I need to be able to run pipes up this inside wall here, and then I'm going to use facades to cover it so it looks like it's still stone brick, over to the top, and then drop down into the top of the tank from above. And again, this will all be covered with the facades. And now that I know about sandstone piping, which would have made my Coke machine and stuff a lot easier, I can use those in the top part here so it's not trying to run into the tank from around there. Same thing up this one, over the top and down, or maybe in the middle. I'll figure out how I want to do this. I'll probably end up using like a single output and then trying to split it to the 3. But yeah, so that'll be all be coming from the top. Facades, making it look like it's just regular bricks. And then the basement. So I kind of added some lines going around just to kind of add some texture to it. And here's where we're going to be making our fuel. I haven't decided if I want to do cactus milk on one side and fuel on the other yet. I know for the biofuel, I'm going to need more than one set of automatic crafting tables and compressors and stuff, so I can kind of keep this feeding to keep up with the growing number of plant balls we'll be getting. So I got a little more designing to do here. So let me think about this for just a sec here, and I will be right back. Well, I think we're gonna have to make this a 2-parter. Definitely, we're already at over a half hour, and I haven't even started on the refinery. So this will be one of my good old 2-parter episodes, which is good because that means I get a shorter episode this time around anyway. So take one last quick look at our in-progress pumpkin farm, which is really doing well so far. And then our next episode we'll continue on with this project. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.